Hey guys, Mrs. Dan's here. This is going to be a real quick video because I'm not teaching you anything new. We're just practicing the multiplying with polynomials. So if we take a look at our getting ready, your objective is that we're going to continue practicing. And remember, we learned two methods. You could distribute or you could use the box method. And you're going to use the method that you prefer. The do now is the top half of the page. So if you could just hit pause, do it, and then check your answers with me, that would be great. So let's take a look at that do now. When parentheses are to the third power, we should write them out 3 times. So we have a 3x squared times a 3x squared times a 3x squared. I need you to recognize this as a monomial times a monomial times a monomial, which means I could expand it if I wanted to. 3 times x times x times 3 times x times x times 3 times x times x. So the answer is 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27x to the 6th power. Letter B. This really says 3 times x times negative 4 times x times x. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. X times x times x is x to the 3rd power. And then you need to recognize C not as multiplication. It truly is subtraction. Right? So when we're subtracting polynomials, we like to combine like terms. But you're only allowed to combine like terms after you remove the parentheses. And the only way of removing parentheses is by distributing. The way you distribute is by looking for the number that's in front of the parenthesis. If you don't see one, there's a 1 there. So to remove the first set of parentheses, I distribute the 1. I get 3x squared minus 2x. To remove the second set of parentheses, I distribute the negative 1. Therefore, this is a negative 5x squared plus 4x. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So we have a 3x squared that can combine with this negative 5x squared to give me a negative 2x squared. And we have a negative 2x that combines with a positive 4x to give me a positive 2x. My answer is a binomial. It's negative 2x squared plus 2x. And now this true false, these are great questions because all the common mistakes are here. Please be real careful. And we're going to talk about why it's either true or false instead of just like randomly guessing true or false. So number 1 is true. To prove to somebody, you would say, oh, this can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and you can see that 2 is being used as a factor 5 times. So number 1 is true. Number 2 is false. You're going to prove why it's false. The parenthesis has to be written out twice. So it's 2 to the 3rd times 2 to the 3rd, which is really 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 to the 6th, not 2 to the 5th. So that's why this one was false. Number 3 is false. Absolutely false. Write it out. It's 3 times 3 times 9 times 9. That sure does not look like there are 4 27s being multiplied out. And some people say, but you can get a 27. Yeah, but how many can you get? 3 times 9 is 27. And this 3 times 9 is 27. And that's it. So this is equal to 27 to the 2nd power, not to the 4th power. So this one was false. What about number 4? Well, if I expanded the problem that they gave me, I'd get 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 4 times 4 times 4. And I definitely don't see a 2 being used as a factor 11 times. But there is something you should recognize. This 4, if I cross it out, I could write it as 2 times 2. I can change a 4 to something with a base of 2. So this one can also be a 2 times 2. And this one can also be a 2 times 2. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2 is being used as a factor 11 times. This is true. That's an important question for you to know how to do for your test. Okay, absolutely. Now, number 5, there should be a box here showing it's a right triangle. The only way you can find the area of a triangle is if you know the base and the height. And base and height have to be perpendicular to each other. That word perpendicular, I sure hope you're paying attention, guys, because I know you didn't do really much geometry last year. It kind of got skipped, and it's mandatory. Perpendicular mean that two lines meet to form right angles. The base, write this down, and height of any figure, it's not just a triangle, it's any figure. I'll say of a figure must be perpendicular to each other. And this fancy word perpendicular means makes a right angle. It's two lines that make a right angle. So there should have been a box here so that I knew that these two sides here were perpendicular. Therefore, this is the base and this is the height. Base and height must be perpendicular. Area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. I'm just going to go change my color real fast. So I want to do 1/2 times 4x times x squared. That really turns out to be 1/2 times 4 is 2, x to the 3rd power. So the area is equal to 2x to the 3rd power. And I think that's pretty much it for my video. With something like number 1, it's a monomial times a binomial. You can distribute if you want. Or remember, if you did the box method, you would put the 6v here, and then a 2v and a 3. Number 2 is like number 1. Number 3 is like number 1. Number 4 is like number 1. Number 5, this we don't really do a box method usually because it's just a monomial times a monomial. I'm going to write mon times mon. It's like what we did in lesson 1, right? I guess if you made a box, it would just be one side by one side. It's a 4x and a 2x. So there's really no sense in making a box. And number 6, the same thing. It's a monomial times a monomial. Then number 7 is a monomial times a monomial. Number 8, I think I want to do 8 with you. We have to write out the parentheses twice, which makes it a monomial times a monomial, so this is a 16p squared. So I guess that wasn't so bad. Number 9 is a binomial times a binomial. So what method do you prefer? It seems like a lot of students prefer the box method better. So I need a 2 by 2 box. So the first binomial goes here, 2n and 2. The second binomial goes here, 6n and 1. And remember, you fill in all 4 of these boxes, combine like terms. If you were to distribute, remember you take this, you pretend that this isn't here, and you distribute it. And then, remember we were just pretending, so this really is here. And then you're going to distribute this. And then you'll get the same 4 things that we got in our box, and you'll combine like terms. So number 10 is the same, number 11 is the same, number 12 is the same. 13 and 14 and 15 and 16, they're all similar problems. 17 I need to do with you. People mess this up all the time. Do you think it's important? I promise this is going to show up on tests and quizzes. So important. Look at the exponent outside the parentheses. What's it mean? It means write out your parentheses that many times. So I have a 4p minus 3 times a 4p minus 3. Please remember to write out the parentheses that many times. Right? If we go back Number 8, I wrote out the parentheses that many times. Turned out to be a monomial times a monomial. And then number 17, I wrote out the parentheses that many times. Let's just do the box method to clear up any misconceptions that you might have. So we'll do a 4p and a negative 3 and a 4p and a negative 3. I'm just going to go change my color. 4p times 4p is 16p squared. And then 4p times negative 3 is negative 12p. And then negative 3 times 4p is negative 12p. And then negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. I have 16p squared minus 12p plus 9. There are some like terms that need to be combined. This negative 12p and this negative 12p. Final answer is 16p squared minus 24p plus 9. Final answer. Okay? When you have an exponent outside of the parentheses, write that parentheses that many times. Promise me you're going to do it. Promise me when you see that exponent on the outside of parentheses. So, number 18, binomial times binomial. Number 19 is a binomial times a trinomial. If you were to do the box method, you need a 2 by 3 box. Right, so that the binomial can go over here, and then the trinomial can go here. Number 20, same thing as 19. 21, same thing. 22 is a trinomial by a trinomial, so you need a 3 by 3 box. I'm not going to help you with this true-false. I really want you to think about it, please. Really think about these questions. These are really important questions. They're questions that could even be asked on a Regents exam. They want to make sure you understand thoroughly about your multiplication. So good luck with this. You're going to finish, and I'll talk to you soon. Not bad, right? 12 minutes, 30 seconds. Okay. See ya. Bye.